Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sebunya Joel Collins, a medical student from Gulu University. In today's video, I'll be taking you through common errors in Excel. Having introduced Excel in our previous videos, we'll go ahead and know what are some of the common errors that occur in Excel and how to deal with them. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. So we'll begin with our first error, which is the hash error. This is commonly achieved, or this commonly appears when you're dealing with numbers and the numbers can't fit within the column. For example, when I try to compress this column, you find that the numbers are no longer fitting here, and this gives me the hash error. So how is this error corrected? You come to that column and then you double click right here. So the cell will expand and it's able to accommodate the numbers, and that removes the error from the Excel document you're working on. So we'll go ahead and see our second error in Excel, the hash value error, and this commonly occurs when text is included within the formula. For example, we'll add a word missing. Then we come here and we are going to subtract cell B2 from C2. We'll type our formula there, C2 minus B2. We are able to get our answer, but when we drop this formula down, since there is a text here being subtracted from a number, we'll get our hash value error. So to correct this error, we can come here, instead of just writing B3 plain, we add the word sum so that it considers the sum of that cell, and then we press enter. Find that this will be able to give us to correct this error, because it will ignore the text and gives us the number. So you can see the change in the formula that corrects that error. So that is how the error is corrected. So we'll go ahead and see our next error, which is the name error. This is commonly got when a mistake is made in typing the formula where the word used is not recognized by Excel. So assuming we are to add cells from C2 to C7, and then we come here to type the formula, which will be equal to, and then instead of sum, which is recognizable by Excel, we type add, and then we say C2 to C2, then to C7, and then we press enter after closing our brackets. So it will give us the hash name error. This means there is a mistake in typing the formula. So it is corrected by coming here and we change this word to sum to one that is within the Excel system, and when we press enter, it will be able to give us the total, and that is how you correct the hash name error. So we'll go ahead and see our next error, which is the reference error. So the reference error is got, for example, when that number of values you're referring to, or the column you're referring to, is no longer existent within the document. For example, I got this column here by adding this, by subtracting this, subtracting B2 from C2. So in case I happen to delete this column, you can see that it gives me a reference error, because the cells that I used to calculate this formula are no longer existent within the document. And when I try to restore this, you can see when this cell comes up, it's able to bring me to remove that error. Alternatively, let me make it a bit wider. Alternatively, when we copy this formula here, and then we paste it we come and paste it here. It carries the formula along with it. And since it is trying to refer to boxes on its side, so there are no values corresponding to the formula within these boxes, since there are no boxes with values this side. So this also gives us our reference error. So that is error number 4. We'll go ahead and see the next error, which is the div error. And the div error is got when among the cells you're dividing there is an empty cell or there is a cell with a 0. For this case, let's consider dividing cell C2 by B2. So we'll type our formula here, which will be equals to C2 divided by B2, and then we press enter. But when we try to drop this formula down, you will see that where there is an empty cell, we are having the div divide by 0 error. So to correct this error, we can come here and use the if error function, and we type if error. We open our brackets. So we'll consider our formula here, and then we open double quotes, and we type what we want to bring back when this error is within the formula. And for this case, we'll just open double quotes, and then we close off the brackets. Then we press enter. So wherever there is a div error, this if error function will be able to give nothing there whenever it notices this error. So we'll press enter, and then we drop this down. As you can see, the div error clears. So we'll go ahead and see our next error, which is the NA error. So the NA error is commonly got when we are using a VLOOK function. For example, let me say we want to look out for the cells of Joel in June. Within the big table. So we'll type it here. So it is Joel we want to look out for. So we'll come to this table and we type the VLOOKUP function, which will look up for this value within the table, and this will be equal to the VLOOKUP which will open the bracket. We put the reference of the cell where we want to put it, where we want to look out something for, which is H2, and we have our name Joel there. We highlight the table from where we want it to be looked out from, this one here, and we can go ahead and fix this cell range so that it is constant in case we want to consider it for another table. We put a comma there, then we put the range, the column from which we want that value to be looked out for, and this is column 2, considering this is column 1, and then we put false. We press enter. It will be able to look out this value from the table, and it gives it to us here. But assuming I put a name mark which doesn't exist within the table, and I press enter, it will give me the NA error. So when we get this error, it can be corrected by coming to our VLOOKUP function, and we use the if NA function, which will be if NA, and then we open the bracket. This will be our formula in here, and then now we put a comma there, and let me say we put person doesn't exist, so that when we feed in a value whereby that person is not within the table, it will be able to notify us that that person does not exist. We close our bracket and we press enter. So we can press yes to consider a correct formula, and as you can see, if Mark is within the table, it will be able to let us know that the person doesn't exist. If I type, for example, John, it will be able to give me the value of John. If I type Maxim, it will be able to give me this value, but when I type a name that is not there, it will give me doesn't exist. So thank you for following. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Yes, stay tuned. Be blessed.